Return of Africa's Prodigal Sons and Daughters. Book 2, Chapter 5, A World Transformed. As told by Rome Ballard. Within a generation, the impossible became inevitable. What the world once dismissed as a dream, Africa lived as policy, practice, and principle. The United States of Africa did not rise by overthrowing others. It rose by overthrowing the lie that power must come from domination. Africa became the world's energy center, not by draining the earth dry, but by listening to it. Solar fields bloomed like metallic savannas. Geothermal currents were tapped with reverence, not greed. Energy grids were designed to serve villages before vaults, homes before hedge funds. Power, for the first time, meant shared capacity, not control. Africa became the world's economic backbone. Trade routes once carved for extraction were re-engineered for reciprocity. Diaspora capital returned not as exploitation, but as investment anchored in accountability. Currency stabilized around human value, not artificial scarcity. Work was dignified, labor was protected, wealth was measured by how many lives it lifted. Africa became the world's cultural heartbeat. Languages once endangered were taught in global classrooms. Children in distant nations learned to count in Swahili, to greet in Wolof, to sing lullabies born in Zulu and Yoruba tones. Culture was no longer consumed. It was respected, credited, and preserved. Africa became the world's moral compass because it remembered what the world had tried to forget: that progress without soul is collapse delayed. That technology without ethics is just a faster weapon. That a future without ancestors is a hollow thing. Nations that once fed on Africa's suffering now stood in quiet awe of its restraint. No reparations were demanded with clenched fists, only with open records, honest reckoning, and shared rebuilding. Mercy became Africa's most radical export. African engineers led planetary climate restoration, not speaking of domination over nature, but reunion with it. Deserts retreated. Rivers returned to maps long erased. Oceans began to breathe again. The planet did not just survive, it began to heal. African philosophers reshaped global education, dismantling systems that trained children to compete before teaching them to cooperate. Wisdom was restored as equal to knowledge. Elders taught alongside algorithms. History was no longer edited for comfort, but told for clarity. African healers pioneered medicine rooted in science and spirit, treating trauma as seriously as tumors. They healed bloodlines, not just bodies. They understood that many illnesses were inherited from injustice itself. African diplomats guided peace talks with the patience of mountains and the memory of rivers that outlast empires. They did not rush ceasefires for headlines. They cultivated reconciliation meant to endure generations. And the former empire nations, they rebuilt slowly, humbly. They sent their children to learn. They studied histories they once erased. They discovered that humility was not weakness, but survival. For the first time in recorded history, the axis of the world shifted. The globe tilted, not toward force, not toward fear, but toward justice. Epilogue: The rebirth. And so it came to be that a scattered people, once broken by chains and sold as cargo, rose not in revenge, but in responsibility. They became the architects of a new world, a world where captivity became destiny fulfilled, brokenness became brilliance refined, exile became homecoming completed. Africa became the North Star, not because it ruled the world, but because it reminded the world how to find its way back to itself. And the children of the diaspora, long lost, long wounded, did not return as victims seeking shelter. They returned as builders, as teachers, as stewards of a future wide enough to hold everyone. This is not an ending. This is the continuation. This is the reclamation. This is the rise. This is Africa's prodigal sons and daughters returned, restored, and reigning not in dominance, but in peace. Action. For every viewer, if this message, this vision, or this chapter moved you in any way, like it. Comment your thoughts, repost it, save it, subscribe for more chapters. Every engagement helps this story travel further. Every share helps the message go global. Let's keep building this movement together. Created by Jus Solutions Universal Media.